Hello again, everybody, and welcome once more to another episode of I Want to Talk About This Album. And in case you haven't noticed, I think I've noticed that the last 3 or 4 episodes, 5 maybe, I've kind of given up on trying to, have some kind of original introduction to each episode. And I guess now I've kind of settled into a rut and just said hello again, everybody, or hello, everybody, or hello again, and said I want to talk about this album. I make this motion every time because you're reading it from this way. I would say it this way. You know what I'm talking about. So it is, I want to talk about this album. And today, I'm going to talk about Def Leppard, On Through the Night, as you can see in the title, down below in the video description. Now this is one, God, I hadn't listened to this album for decades. I talked about Pyromania in one of these episodes before it was rebranded as I Want to Talk About This Album. I used to call it I Love This Album. And then I realized I wanted to talk about some albums that I don't necessarily love, but I just want to talk about them. So here's where we are. So On Through the Night, oh my God, I hadn't heard this record in decades. So I got into Pyromania. My history with Def Leppard, I got into Pyromania at the time that it was out. It was 1983. I was 13 years old. I was into, at that point, Iron Maiden and obviously Kiss and Van Halen, and I guess around this time also Motley Crue and Metallica. And so Pyromania was great for me. Then I only went back after Pyromania and got On Through the Night, which is probably in 1984. I had the record in 1984. Never got into it. I didn't, I don't know what it was. I kind of know what it was, and I'll see when I open it. And here it is. Part of the reason, I've said this before, I remember when I had this originally in 1984, and I'll see what's inside this shortly when I open up. It's just a plain white sleeve inside. No lyrics, no pictures, no liner notes, nothing. And I think that deterred me when I was a kid. I guess maybe I had a short attention span, and if I didn't have anything to look at and follow along with, I kind of lost attention, kind of like now too. We'll see what's in here when I open it. But I just never got into it, and also I loved Pyromania, and going backwards to this, it was a pretty different sound, so maybe, when I was 13 or I guess 14 when I got this, I was pretty dumb, as most 14-year-olds are. And maybe I just didn't appreciate the fact that it was different. Now I love it. I listened to this, just listened to it today. I thought, oh man, this album is really good. And it is I'd say it's a real heavy metal album. It's at least new wave of British heavy metal, I think is what they call it. It's all over this album. And at this time in 1984, I didn't know stuff like that, and I guess didn't care. But I missed the boat on this, and really like it now. It's got a very, very, it's amazing to think how Def Leppard sounds now, starting with Hysteria, I guess. Sorry, not Hysteria. What was the album after Pyromania? It was Hysteria. God, what a different band they were. Even Pyromania was pretty different. And I never did get on through High and Dry. Never bought that album ever. I don't know why. But listening to this again today, I thought this is a really good album. It brought me back to my young heavy metal days, and made me realize that I missed out on this back then because I was young and dumb, I guess. So I guess I'll go through it track by track. Now that was a pretty short one, wasn't it? I guess I don't have too much to say about it. I wasn't, as I said, I wasn't a big fan. I've only rediscovered it today, and I listened to it yesterday too. So then I guess it's going to be a short episode. So I'm going to cut this open now. Hopefully there's something inside, not just a plain white paper sleeve like the original one in 1983. And it seems that's what it is. Just a plain white sleeve. No hype sticker. Nothing on there. There's the back, by the way. All right. Yeah, it looks like it's just a plain white sleeve. Put some effort into your shit, man. Bands, labels, whatever. Give me something. Let me open it up. No, there is a lyric. There is a lyric sheet. I apologize for what I just said. I got a little bit saucy there. I take that back. So let me get this the shrink wrap off. I always struggle with this too. These videos would be a lot shorter if I didn't have to deal with this shrink wrap. Let me use the knife to give one more little cut here. If I can do this without dropping it. All right, there we go. All right, that's better. All right, so there is something to look at inside. So there it is. All right, and I find that I'm asking myself, what does Mike Pratt think about Def Leppard, especially Def Leppard On Through the Night? I have a feeling he doesn't really like it, or is maybe not from there. You know what? Maybe the original. No, this is. I don't think it had this. I'm sure it was just a white paper sleeve when I got this. So that's pretty cool. I like it. And there's the lyrics. All right, and I guess it's just black vinyl, presumably. Yeah, and it feels heavy and thick. It must be 180 grams. That's what I think. All right, so going through this now. Rock Brigade is the first song. Side one, first song, Rock Brigade. Well, in the middle of the night and the early morning light, you can hear them a million miles away. They'll be banging on their drums, banging on their door, waving their flags, telling you the score, and it's got that drum fill as it comes into that. That's a great song. That's a real heavy metal song. This is, God, Def Leppard used to be a heavy metal band, if you can believe that. And Rock Brigade is a great opener. It's a real rock song. I have no idea what Def Leppard does these days live, but I'm sure, I would bet they don't play anything from this album. I don't know. Do they? Tell me, Def Leppard fans, do they play anything from this album? Have they played anything from this album in the last 40 years? This came out in 1980. I guess they played it. I'm not sure. I'm getting off track already. So yeah, Rock Brigade is an amazing song. I love it. I'm not sure if it's my favorite. Next is Hello America, Hello America, Hello America, Hello America. And I think I like this one better than Rock Brigade. This is a great, just another up-tempo, kind of melodic, hard rock, borderline heavy metal song. Well, I'm taking me a trip. I'm going down to California. Yeah, I'm going to see Hollywood and San Pedro Bay. Yeah. A little bit of a geography lesson for you. He's going to Hollywood and San Pedro Bay, and he's going to see Frisco, and later he went to L.A. Excellent melodic, hard rock, heavy metal song. Hello America. What an exciting time it must have been for a band like Def Leppard when they recorded this record. I guess Rick Allen was or still is, the youngest guy in Def Leppard. I think at the time they released this, he was probably, maybe he was 19, 20, maybe 18. I don't even know, maybe 17. I just know they were very young. And imagine writing a song like Hello America, coming from England, and I guess it's about, well, coming to America and conquering America and winning the hearts of young rock fans and whatever else you do. Next is Sorrow is a Woman, which is really should just be called Sorrow Woman. This kind of, in retrospect, now that I've got into some older Scorpions stuff, this sounds like it could have been a 70s Scorpion song, kind of a mix of somewhat ballady, somewhat rockery. But I like that song too. Pretty good. Next is It Could Be You, It Could Be Me, It Could Be Anyone. Another excellent song. This is what was I thinking that I didn't really get into this album too much in 1984. That one reminds me a little bit of Fastway. Not any particular song. It just sounds, the riff sounds like it. Well, I know Fastway, not All Fired Up. The debut came out in 1983, but this, when I listened to it today, it brought to mind Fastway. Good one. Satellite, ooh yeah. That's maybe the first sign of Def Leppard's really, the kind of the melodic backing vocals that would come on Pyromania for sure, and then God, in Hysteria after that. Maybe High and Dry, but yeah, Satellite is a good song. Next is When the Walls Come Tumbling Down, some kind of doom and gloom lyrics here. It's maybe not what you would expect from Def Leppard, although back at this time when they were a heavy metal band, maybe when the walls came tumbling down at that time, maybe that was what you would expect from a heavy metal band such as Def Leppard. These kind of end of the world Armageddon lyrics. Not Armageddon It, the shitty song that came out in 1987, but kind of an Armageddon, the sky is falling type of song. Sky is falling, or the walls came tumbling down. And then the other side is Wasted. Oh, what a riff. This is, again, a heavy metal riff. I would even say the whole second side. I think I like the second side better. It's very riffy, very heavy metal, new wave of British heavy metal. Beginning with Wasted. Wasted. I've wasted my time. Wasted. Wasted. I'm wasting my time. Wasted. I'm wasting my time. Wasted. I'm way out of line. Wasted. I'm losing control. Wasted. God, I gotta check that. Yeah, I've wasted my time. I'm shooting a line. I'm down in a hole. I'm stuck in a hole. Wasted. I'm losing control. And then that great riff. This was, I guess, Pete Willis. Not I guess. Pete Willis did play on this song or on this album. I don't know whatever happened. Is he even still alive, Pete Willis? I think he is. I know Steve Clark. Steamin' Steve Clark. He died many years ago. I don't know if Pete Willis. I think Pete Willis is dead. Wikipedia, here I come. Next is Rocks Off. This is a very, a cheeky teenage groupie kind of rock star type song. Also very reminiscent of the time, and it's also a good song. Also, great riff on that one. This whole second side, as I said, is very riffy. Next, number 3 on the second side is It Don't Matter. Terrible grammar, once again. I will always point out horrible grammar. It should be It Doesn't Matter, which brings to mind Rat had It Doesn't Matter on my favorite Rat album, which is Dancing Undercover. Great. One of my favorite bands, Rat, and Dancing Undercover is my favorite Rat album. Should I compare It Doesn't Matter with It Don't Matter? For grammar, Rat takes it for sure, and probably as a song, Rat takes It Doesn't Matter over It Don't Matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter to me. Let me check something. Yeah. 2 more songs. Yeah. And next is Answer to the Master, which also reminds me of Delivering to the Master by Exciter on 1984, Violence and Force. I don't know why I'm pointing this out, but I can't help it. It brings these things to mind. Answer to the Master, good song too. Maybe this one, I don't know if it's a least favorite on this album, but I still like it. That's all I got to say about Answer to the Master. I'm flailing away, I think, at this point. And then the last song on the album is Overture. Maybe this is my favorite song. This is, some people like to say epic. I don't like to say epic, but I think for people that like to say epic, that's maybe how they would describe Overture. It's got that, maybe the best Joe Elliott vocal. The melody in this is just beautiful. The introduction, the quiet acoustic, and then it gets this sounds a little bit to me, especially the bass tone reminds me a little bit of Rush, and then it's got the kind of an Iron Maiden section later in it. And this came out the same year as Iron Maiden's first album, 1980. But this is it's a 7-minute song. This is 7.5 minutes. Overture. And it does have it takes you on a journey, I think is what it does. Overture it doesn't have the running times on it. But Overture has a lot of different moods to it, different feels. And it's an excellent song. And I would say it's, probably my favorite song. It's also got a little bit of the heavy metal lyrics. There's something about, I'm not familiar with it. It's protect me with your sword and shield. Something about swords and shields. Protected by our swords and shields, we can replant the seed. Yeah, through empty streets and dusty fields, we'll fight for what we need. Protected by our swords and shields, we can replant the seed. So that's Overture. And that's a great song, probably my favorite on this album. And this album is way better than I remember it being, or that I gave it credit for. And I was so off Def Leppard when Hysteria, when Hysteria came out in 1987, that's one of the most disappointing albums I've ever heard. And there's another one of my most disappointing albums ever that I will talk about in a future episode. And you'll have to see what that is. But not this album, Hysteria was just garbage. So it's good to go back and listen to some classic heavy metal Def Leppard. And this one is called On Through the Night.